Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend Lance Lambert from Fortune. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Housing, housing, housing. Always a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I appreciate you all you do. What is your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
People can find me at News Lambert or Google Lance Lambert Fortune and find my author page.
Awesome. One of the things I wanted to do that I want to share with you something I built that I share for free. I call it my 52-year spreadsheet. I've gone back to 1970 and collected, I don't know, 20 different metrics, and I cite my sources because I often think that there's gems or gold in history. It doesn't repeat, but maybe there are some things that we can learn from it. Is it okay if I show you and we can talk about
Now
it?
let's take a look.
All right, here we go. All right, let me know when that comes up for you.
Oh, wow. It was a lot more data than I thought you were going to throw at me.
Yeah. So again, just so you know, I do give this a free. It's in my free course. I didn't know where to put it, so I got all the data. Here's my sources. It's all linked, right? Prices, about all of this, and then I go all the way back to 1970. So one of the things I've heard a lot of lately, which you may have heard of, is the yield curve is inverted most since 1981. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
So one of the things I do when I hear stuff like that is I go back to 1981, and just to level set, it's here. And we could look at a couple of things, like for example, where was mortgage rates? Mortgage rates were 16.64%, up from 13. So they were up almost 300 basis points from the year before. The other thing that I often talk about is transactions crashing, right? Interest rates up, transactions crash. So you can see I have new home sales here in line 4, right? They peaked in 78 at 800. They go all the way down to 412. New home or existing home sales were up at 4.8. They go all the way down to 2.4. This is kind of what you and I talked about in past episodes. Zuber's calling a transaction crash, and I did that before anybody else. I want to have credit for. Then what I do is I'll go, okay, what's going on with home appreciation? Again, these are nominal, not real.
Yeah.
I adjust for real down here at line 25, just because I can, right? But these are nominal home prices. Home prices were going up, and they went up in 81, even though transactions were way down.
Yeah. So that one, I would almost tell the audience to look at it a little further back because you're taking full 80 to into 81.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it had an effect on nominal decelerating the growth. Decelerating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, part of this is a lot of people in my world that are calling for housing crashes don't understand how slow prices move. 1981, the worst yield curve inversion, and you really started feeling the pain 2 years later.
Yeah.
That's one of the things why I'm calling 2023 flat, because I think too many people have gone too negative too quickly. The other thing I really want to point out is housing affordability. Housing affordability in 1981 was the worst on record.
Yeah.
Worst on record. What happened? Transactions crashed,
Yep.
but prices still went up because some deals still got done. So these are things. And then again, I do incomes and prices and affordability.
So
All this
one
is
thing
here.
to keep an eye on here that I think would be important going forward. Can we do CPI? Where's the CPI set?
20, row 20.
One of the theories for reasons we didn't necessarily get as much nominal decline is the inflation kind of still stayed elevated a little more so.
Yeah. So we have real here,
Yeah.
25. Home appreciation minus. So again, in real terms, we were negative 4 years in a row.
It's interesting also to see how much the real when everybody's saying real, these real indexes vary so much. So yours is right off CPI.
Yeah. Just
And
and again,
some are home price to incomes, and that's how they do real. But
that's
it's
not. Oh, that's not how real. That's a creative way of doing real. That's not how.
yeah. But that's more what the Dallas Fed is. So when I see them say they're real, I got to go take a look at it from that lens.
Yeah, and again, I have what they have. I have median price income ratio. So I have it. It's just not what you consider real. So I have the data. It's just not accurately stated as real. But anyways, I have it here because
I think this index is great. I think I could help you track down a couple more on the affordability ones. So then you have a few different ones because they each kind of vary a little bit, but yeah, but we were very pressurized at those early 80s.
and
I mean, you see affordability go up like that. Transactions are going to, I mean,
that's
like you
the
said,
that this is what I saw before anybody else, or at least anybody else publicly speaking, is I saw the Fed was going to do what they did. They took rates from 0. They were going to go up 3 to 4. And I didn't even see 5 at the time. I'm like, that's going to affect the 30-year mortgage. That's going to drive affordability down because affordability is price, rate, and income. And given the rapid rise as on a percentage basis that we've never seen before, I knew that transactions were going to crash and be felt first. The other thing that this exercise taught me is people calling for a price crash don't understand that the demand curve has changed. We were doing roughly 4.8 million units in 78. We went to 2.4. That's a different demand curve. And that's what I think a lot of people who are calling 20% crash next year don't get. We won't do 6 million. And oh, by the way, I've got the data all the way out here. 2022 is not over, so that's why the data is not here, right? We did 6.8 million. I'm calling sub 4 million in total transactions.
yeah.
So, you know, it's fun to look at. But again, I just wanted to share this with you. This is why I confidently called a transaction crash before anyone else, and why I'm standing pat with my, hey, we've got crazy appreciation for 2 years. It's going to be a lot slower than people think on the other side.
You know, one thing that I would like to see with the housing forecast is I would love it if everybody was Case-Shiller. Everybody use Case-Shiller index.
Sure.
But instead of giving us a percent, if they would just tell us where they think the index is going to be in 12 months.
Oh, that'd be better. Yeah.
Because like when a bank does an S&P 500 forecast, they're not giving a percent. They're just saying, here's where we think the index is.
Here's the number: 3,200, 3,800, 43.
We can all line them up and we kind of see where everybody's lenses are. And right now it's the wild, wild west. We got realtor.com over here using median existing sales prices.
Yep.
Some people are using their own index like John Burns. And then some use Case-Shiller, but they just give us the percents and they're a little cloudy in terms of, you know, what timeline they're actually on. And then some just the peak to trough.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. It's kind of hard to see everybody's different models right now.
Yeah. Well, Lance, I know you have to go to another important call. Where can people find you? Thank you for looking at this.
Yeah, I love that spreadsheet. It was a lot more robust than I thought. I thought you were maybe going to show me 1 or 2 metrics. I didn't know you were going to throw all of economics at me over 50. People can find me at News Lambert on Twitter. That's where I spend most of my time. Or they can Google Lance Lambert Fortune and find my author page.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.